I was diagnosed with diabetes in my second semester of medical school. So I've been a diabetic now 16 years. And people always ask, why are you so dedicated to vascular disease? I said, well, for one, I'm diabetic. I'm African American. I have people in my family who've lost a limb. I have an uncle without a limb. I was talking to my mom, ironically, this morning, and she was telling me of one of my cousins who just had a FEMPOP bypass, which means they had to reroute the blood vessels in his leg. He's about to lose his leg. He's diabetic. And I'm from Louisiana, so we're number 2 in the country for all the complications from diabetes. So, as a podiatrist, I was trained from day one. We're specialists of the foot and ankle, but we're also specialists from the waist down. So when you walk into my treatment room, I look at you holistically. I look at your whole body habitus. But I look at your feet and your legs first. So when I look at a person, first I look to see if they're a diabetic. I look to see if they're a smoker. But then I look at their skin. I look, is the skin supple? Is it dry? Is it ashy? I look to see if they have any hair on their feet or legs. And people always ask, why are you looking for hair? I'm looking for blood flow, because that tells me if there's enough blood to the feet, you'll have hair on your feet. If your skin is pretty, you have blood coming to your feet. If your nails are pretty, you're less likely to be a diabetic, or you're well controlled. And I do a lot of screening in my office. We do in my office what's called an ankle brachial index. It's a blood pressure cuff on your arms and legs. It's non-invasive, but it's the gatekeeper test to a vascular surgeon or an interventional radiologist or cardiologist. But so many people, African American, poor, white, black, they're never tested.
That's right.
And generally, when people do get tested, it's too late. They generally, when they finally do see a vascular surgeon, they generally have gangrene. And it's too late. So what my goal is, what Lauren's goal is prevention. So my goal is to see the patient, see what the issue is, do the testing, then get them to the vascular specialist who can do interventions. And I basically just call, they roto-rooter the vessels. So it's just like your plumbing. Your plumbing is clogged. They have the devices that can come in and roto-rooter that vessel. There may be a blockage or something in that vessel. They can put a stent in that vessel. They can fix that vessel. They can bring in another vessel. But it's things that can be done so you're not sitting there with one leg. And the statistics on vascular disease are horrifying. If you lose a limb, you have a 50% chance of being dead in 5 years.
That's right.
If you lose both limbs, you have a 100% chance of being dead in 5 years. And the reason is because when you walk, the muscles in your legs pump the blood back up to your heart. You don't have your legs, your heart has to do it. So most of the time they die from heart failure. I think they die from depression because you're grieving. You've lost a part of you. They lose, you gain weight. You don't go out. And I have tons of patients. They never wear their prosthetic limbs. They just roll around in their wheelchairs and just go in the corner and die. But my goal, Lauren's goal, Sharon's goal is to educate the community. These are not direct goals. This is not monopoly. As soon as you become a diabetic, it is not a guarantee you will lose a limb. It is not a guarantee you will go on dialysis or go blind.
That's right.
Or all the other complications of diabetes. So that's what my goal is. That's what Cheryl's goal is. That's what the doctors that all came here today is to save limbs and save lives.
Amen.
Thank you.
Now, wasn't that informative?